Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wake Up with Toastmasters. My name is Jean Williams. I'm your Program Quality Director for Southern Nevada, District 115, and a little piece of Arizona. And this is my co-host, Jean Denford. Hi, Jean.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Missed you all.
We did find half our banner this morning, but it didn't make sense. So we just took it down. We're still looking for it. Don't you worry, we'll find it. In the meantime, though, I thought first we'd do our mark our calendar Monday, but we don't have that many announcements this time, so that'll go real quick. The first one is on January the 24th, and it is a Monday evening, will be our online TLI, which is Toastmaster Leadership Institute. That's where the club officers get their training, and also there's additional educationals. And this time, and it's not a makeup session. Let me back up. Normally we have our regular TLI and then a makeup session that only covers the club officer training. But this time we're doing something unique. We had our in-person TLI on Saturday, this past Saturday, with 3 educational sessions, and we'll do the same thing on the 24th. So it really is 2 TLI sessions, which is really great. And our educationals that are coming up on the 24th, we're going to have a panel discussion led by Anita Della Croce about the art of delegation. So that it was very well received at a past enrichment night. We wanted to roll it out to the rest of the district, whoever didn't make it to that one. Great class there. The second one is vision boards, and that'll be led by Nadia Gilks. These are, if you've never heard of them, because I'm late joining that game too, it's a board or a place to bring your vision and your goals for the year, possibly your life, and bring them to a place where you can see them daily and remember what you were passionate about at that moment that you created the board, and keep that enthusiasm and that passion so that you can continue through the year meeting your goals and reaching your vision. And the last hour will be a class taught to us by Carol Campbell, our district director, about area directors. And this is important if you are looking toward achieving your distinguished Toastmaster, because one of the requirements to become a distinguished Toastmaster is to serve 1 year as a district officer. Now, there are ways to do that other than serving as a district officer, but they're a little bit harder to do. And a lot of people decide, well, I do want to learn more about leadership. That's why I came, and take the area director task on. It's a lot of fun. Many people who we've had on this show have said that the district position they enjoyed the most was area director. It's where you get to oversee 4, 5, even 6 clubs, help them reach their goals, meet the members, help them achieve their goals. It's an exciting and interesting task, and very, very needed. A great area director can make all the difference between a club doing very well and a club doing well or good. So do consider that. And if you're interested in more about exactly what it is and what it means or what the requirements are, then that'll be your 3rd hour of the online TLI. And of course, we'll have our club officer trainings as well. So if you're a current club officer, whether you just got elected or whether you were elected back in the fall or in July, you still need to attend a club officer training. Now, if you attended the club officer training in the past and you just want to come for the educationals, that's fine. And if you're not a club officer and you only want to come for the educationals, that's fine too. And then on January 29th is game night. And again, that's just a lot of fun. You guys are really missing out, you who are not coming. It's obviously no pressure. It's just like coming to somebody's house, meeting new people and playing some games. We played a game called Synergy the last time. It was a lot like Table Topics on steroids. It was a lot of fun. And so we'll have games again on the 29th, and do come to that. It's from 6, both the online TLI is 6 to 9 p.m. Pacific, and the game night is online, and it is 6 to 8 Pacific, usually 6 to 7:30, depends on how enthusiastic we are about the games. And speaking of enthusiasm, but I thought we'd talk today, Jean, a little bit about getting our enthusiasm back. Because I know think about when you first joined Toastmasters, you were probably super enthusiastic about the goals you wanted to meet and the things you wanted to accomplish. You met people, you joined the club, you had all these goals in mind, and think, granted, the pandemic's taken a lot out of us, or maybe you joined during that and you're noticing that you're just not as happy to get into a meeting right this minute. Maybe it's just easier to skip a meeting or not renew. So I thought we would talk about regaining your enthusiasm. So, Gene, I'll ask you, when you first visited a Toastmaster meeting, what was it that made you want to join?
What I joined for was to become a better interviewee as a job hunter. But what kept me in was more the camaraderie, the fellowship, being with people, and then also Toastmasters gave me a set of rules and a set of objectives to follow. And I started out with, I'm kind of a engineer type person, so I started out with number one and did number two and did number three, and everything was in order. So that's what kept me in, was the order of it. And also I had a couple of really good sponsors. The club I was in was really interested in promoting me and bringing me to my maximum capabilities. And I think that made the difference. And what I have had accomplished is the people believed in me and the people supported me, and that's what kept me going forward. Is their belief in me, not so much my own belief in myself, but the belief that they had that I could accomplish this. And I said, well, all right, if you'll help, I'll do it.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about when our goals change, and I had not thought about that as well. We're still talking about enthusiasm, but if you joined like Gene did when you wanted to be better at interviewing, and then now he's since retired because he's been in Toastmasters that incredibly long, incredibly long. But then again, you have to look at what other things there are that make it fun. There are of course, the other people. There's so many people to meet and to learn from. There's things to learn. Every time somebody gets up to give a speech, it's something new I can learn. And I've learned about everything from household cleaners to great ways to make a charcuterie tray, which I still can't say, but I've learned about recipes. I've learned, where to go for a good dining. I mean, there's so many things, even from table topic answers where someone talks about their favorite restaurant. You get afterward, where was that? I got to write that down. I got to go there. Or parts of the world or parts of the country. I've seen people talk about, a man came and spoke about his job where he works in Egypt. So many things to learn and to do. So yeah, there's that. The learning part is the part that I didn't think. I thought I would be learning from the program. I didn't think about learning from the other members. So that's always something to be enthusiastic about. But if your goals have changed, that's not a bad thing. It just, maybe you joined because you really wanted that one job and you got that job. Okay, well, that was the reason I joined. Well, then you have to look at what are the other reasons to join and to stay a member. Maybe it's just to clean up your grammar a little bit, make your presentations better for your employees, be better at conversation. There's so many reasons to join. If you still have that reason to join, though, in front of you, maybe your goal is to become a nationally known speaker or give a TEDx talk or something like that, and your speaking skills just aren't quite there yet. Well, then you joined and you're still there for the same reason. But however the reason is that you joined or the reason that you're staying, I think part of enthusiasm is remembering a reason or the reason you joined and other reasons to stay. And the other part is to try to recapture that excitement. And I think for me, it's like we went to the TLI Saturday, and that was actually kind of a little boost of energy because I got to see people that I had not seen in a while. That was in person, granted, and of course you only get to see this much of anybody, but that's okay. So but it was still nice to learn things. But I think, and the same thing will happen when we're online. It's learning something that you had not learned before, and a lot of it is the educational classes that you'll see. at the online TLI, but also the ones you get in enrichment night. Because Saturday night online, because we always have our enrichment night online, and we had a discussion about TLI, I'm sorry, not TLI. In our enrichment night on Saturday night, which was online, we had a discussion group that talked about HPL projects, which is your high performance leadership projects, which are in some of the paths, and the Distinguished Toastmaster project, which you are required to do one to get your Distinguished Toastmaster. They're very similar. The recording is slightly different, but the projects are very, very similar, and the carrying out of the project is very similar. So therefore, we're able to discuss them all at once. And as we talked about these different possibilities, there was a renewed enthusiasm among the people there. Oh, I hadn't thought about doing that. Oh, and one lady even said, I didn't want to do another DTM, but she had already received her Distinguished Toastmaster goal. She said, I don't want another DTM, but man, the more we talk about these things, I'm thinking about helping out or doing another Distinguished Toastmaster project. Because some of the things we discussed were so many people do those projects as Toastmaster related, maybe helping out with an area contest or something like that. But there's so many possibilities of things you can do. And we talked about things that you can do through for your church. Maybe your church is having a toy drive for children, or a food drive for the shut-ins that are in the church. And you did it this past year, you're thinking, I want to do that this year. I want to be the one who helps out. I can lead the program. I can lead it better and probably help more people. That can be a Distinguished Toastmaster project. But as we talked about the different things that people did as their project or planned to do, or what anybody could do, there was this enthusiasm that came over the whole group. And that's what I mean about coming to the educational things that are available to you. We had the one in person, but everything else I'm telling you about is going to be online. So you just have to put on your slippers and comb the front of your hair, and you come to and do wear a shirt, and you come to your computer screen. And so we have, like I said, educational is coming up about creating vision boards, and you're right there in your own home. It's something to learn, or the art of delegation. And even if you're not going to go into management, so you don't think about delegation, there's still things we delegate every day, even maybe to a friend or a coworker that just there's delegation that occurs when you ask somebody to do something. So but the educationals do bring back more enthusiasm. So there's so many things. In January, we have a lot more. But typically every month on the second Saturday of the month, we have enrichment night. And it's always the second Saturday, always at 6 p.m. Pacific, always online. And it's always the same link. And it's always in the newsletter that's put out at the first of the month. So there's no reason you can't get there or find it. If you still are having trouble, our banner is here. Our whole entire banner. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yes, you can email me at D115PQD, which stands for Program Quality Director, or you can even email Ken Richardson. His is the exact same D115, but his is CGD for Club Growth Director at Gmail. Ask what the link is, but come to some of those events, because you will find it's not a burdensome additional training. We keep them interesting, we keep them fun, and you may just get that enthusiasm back, that little where I don't want to go back to another meeting. I'm so tired of Fran and how she always has to talk about her poodle every single day. But then you come to an enrichment night, you get to see people you haven't seen before, or even come to a game night and see people and do things you haven't done, a little bit different than the meeting. And then you may find, okay, the meeting's good. I can learn about Fran's poodle one more week. So, or maybe visit another club or visit an advanced club. Now that's another way to get enthusiasm. Before we talk about advanced clubs, so how did you find our banner?
I was looking in the trash heap, and I found where somebody had tossed it into the junk pile, and so I pulled it out and brushed it off. When I was brushing it off, I brushed off the bottom half, so I had to go look for the bottom half. But there's our whole banner. I wanted to say something about game night. If you have a game, pardon me, I have a cold coming on now. so it sounds a little nasally. But if you have a game that you like to play, then maybe we could adapt it for an online game with Toastmasters. Uh, the last game we played that Gene was talking about is a board game, and we adapted it to play online, uh, where we. It's just amazing what we can do. We even tried playing Scrabble online once, and that was a hard job to get like 8 people playing Scrabble. So we had to have a Scrabble master with a board with a camera on the board. We put the letters on that board, and it was fun. Gene was the organizer for the Scrabble game, but I enjoyed that too. So if you have a game you think we might be able to adapt for an online game night, bring it to us, and we'll see if we can make it work for Toastmaster game night.
Yeah, we've had an escape. We've played escape room. We've played Let's Make a Deal. Pictionary. I never thought about Pictionary online. And thank you, Sean Horn. He was the one that brought us Pictionary and that idea to do that. We've had categories. Like I said, we played Pictionary. Scrabble was well, we're not giving up on ever playing it again, but it's a lower down. That we played Yahtzee. Yahtzee was fun. So yeah, you're right. Every single month we play different games. Sometimes we bring back Pictionary because it's very, very fun and people really like it, but it's not every month. So it's not the same games. We really switch it up. So yeah, that's really a way to get some enthusiasm back because you are meeting people that maybe you don't normally see. And you get to chat a little bit because it's normally a little bit smaller group. We typically have 10 or less. And it's just and if we end up with more than 10, we'll typically do breakout rooms where you can pick one game or the other. But right now we're more of I'd say about 8 or 10 people at the most. And so that's easy and fun and a lot of fun to play. So we're adapting it. You're not going to be there with 50 people trying to play something where maybe you get one turn that evening. Now it really is fun and interactive. So yeah, so that is game night. So yeah, Gina's right. There's so many fun things to see about it, to be enthusiastic again. I was segueing over to something else when you got us back to game night. And game night's so much fun. I like talking about it. We were talking about, oh geez, Gene. Well, we had talked about the DTM projects and HPL projects. Yeah, that's okay. So that's where I was, DTM and HPL projects, and finding a project that is fun for you will bring back a lot of your enthusiasm. Sometimes we don't see how the goals we set in Toastmasters or the things we wanted to join for can go over to another passion we have. So for example, and the example I gave is I really enjoy quilting. And I go to a quilt shop where we sew. Once a week, I go to the quilt shop and I sew and talk to other ladies, and now and then a man, but normally other ladies. And we talk about our quilting, and of course, like any group, our aches and pains and all the other stuff that goes along with that. And the owners of that shop are actually find different projects to take on. And for example, one of the projects they're starting now is to have people make placemats that are for the hospice program. So he asked to make 2 identical placemats, one for the patient and one for the person who's eating with them and dining with them at the hospice program. So it's a very, very caring thing, and I think very needed. And it just shows some help and support. And if you're a quilter, you get a chance to make something. We like to make things. We like to help people. But if you look at that as if you were going to do that as your HPL project or your DTM project, and I'll use them back and forth. I won't keep saying them at the same time. But if you're doing your high performance leadership project and you decided that's a great idea, I'm going to do that in my town, then now you would have a project because you're probably going to go to your quilt shop, sell the idea. Maybe you get a few of your friends who like to sew, and you say, okay, Susie, you go sell it to the quilt shop and see if they'll let us advertise it there. So you're in charge of advertising, and you're in charge of finding people who want to make the placemats, and you're in charge of finding fabric and supplies for people who want to make placemats but don't have enough supplies to make them. So now you have your 3 committees. And now you're overseeing this project, which creates, you have a goal. We're going to have a goal of 100 placemats. You don't have to be thousands. Our goal is 100 placemats. That means we need to find 50 people to make them, or somebody to make several. And so there you go. But that's your project. And there's something that has nothing to do with Toastmasters. It achieves the goal you think would be really incredible to achieve. So that's where we were talking about in our enrichment night on Saturdays, finding a project that brings your enthusiasm about Toastmasters and your enthusiasm about a goal you have in life, that brings those together and makes those something fun.
Your project could be something you're doing at work. It could be a project at work that you're working on that several people that you work with are involved in. And as long as you're leading the project and you have a team of people that you're guiding and working with, that becomes a DTM HPL project there in itself. Doesn't have to be anything to do with Toastmasters, but you need somebody from Toastmasters be on your committee to make it work so that there could be a report done on what was done for Toastmasters. So that's it's very easy to do, and a lot of people are in Toastmasters. You might even find somebody at your job that is in need of better speaking skills that you might bring along to Toastmasters, and that would be the person that would help you with your HPL project at work.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point, G, because I know one of my coworkers, as I was in a company club, and her project was, there were people coming in from out of town, and they were all coming in for a training class. So she was put in charge of the project, and she thought, this would fit into the criteria of an HPL, because it had the general component is where you're leading people, and those people are, at least one of them has a committee of people working for them. So you have that double layer of management, if you will. So that's the key component. Well, she had people, the people were coming in from out of town. That was not something she arranged. But what was thrown in her lap was the training courses and the people from out of town. So she wanted to use that as an HPL. So she made sure that the classroom was ready and all the supplies were ordered for the people attending the class, which was the main goal of the task. But she went that one step further. One of her committees was someone to make the people feel welcome while they were here. They created a flyer of things to see and things to do, and they arranged one field trip, if you will. I hate to say field trip, but that's the way to describe it. Kind of a trip from the office to the downtown area of Las Vegas to let people just go and have fun one evening if they chose to. And she also arranged to have refreshments while they were there. She arranged a tour of the building. So all those, well, she and her committees arranged all that. The hard part was finding the Toastmaster on her steering committee was easy enough to find, because that person doesn't need to come to the office or come to work group meetings. Finding someone that was in Toastmasters to come to her work group meeting, that was harder. So she ended up inviting a coworker of hers to be on her committee and to come with her to a Toastmaster meeting. And the woman actually did end up joining Toastmasters, but I think she could have still done that as a project, even if she was not able to bring a Toastmaster to one of her committee meetings, because it's about integrity also and achieving the goal, and the goal would be measurable and achievable. So yeah, you're right. So it could be work. Don't think, well, all I do is go to Toastmasters and to work. How am I going to do another project? It's probably right there in your lap at work. Or maybe it's something you've been wanting to do through another, like I said, maybe you go to church every week, and here's a way to bring your church in to do something. Or maybe something inspired you over the holidays. Maybe the tree where you pick a kid that needs gifts, or one thing I saw was where people made placemats for the Meals on Wheels route. Maybe you're thinking, oh, that'd be so nice. I can make Christmas stockings for the people on the Meals on Wheels route, or I could make a nice dessert, or well, these days you can't make anything, you have to like buy it, but maybe you can coordinate people donating to Meals on Wheels to bring them something more fun than just the meal. There's so many possibilities, but maybe even if you're not quite at that point, there's several projects in Toastmasters that'll let you pick a project that would be fun. One of the smaller ones is just working with a committee. I think it's leading your team is what it's called. It's only in one path, but if you're in that path, leading your team, I think it's, no, it might be in both of the leadership goals, but it's called leading your team. And it's where you work with the panel of 4 people, you and 3 other people, and you have your team. That's all it is. But that might be a project, looking at your list of electives, you think, oh, if I did that, I could use those 3 people and we could insert goal or insert wish, or maybe it's something just finding enough people to pick 10 things off the wish list at the Animal Foundation or the Humane Society. So many possibilities, but pick something you're already passionate about in your non-Toastmaster world and bring it over to the Toastmasters, and that will get your enthusiasm back about Toastmasters, because you will find there's so many people that will help you on your goal. Any other tips for enthusiasm, Gene?
No, but I forgot to go look at Facebook and see what everybody else is doing over there.
Well, we got 1 minute. You could check it now. Anybody there?
It'll take me more than a minute to get there. Let's have me check on Facebook next time we run. I'll run over there and find out what's going on, and if anybody's there, I'll post for them.
I was so busy finding our banner this week. It was I could understand you not being there looking at Facebook. Yeah.
I'm not quite in the swing of things because I'm like, this is my 2nd time doing the show since I got back out of the hospital. So, you know.
Yeah, Gene decided to experience the pandemic firsthand.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, but for the rest of us, it's 6:30. So we want to thank everybody for coming and hearing Wake Up with Toastmasters. Tomorrow, your hosts will be Ken Richardson and Phyllis Tribby. And then you'll see Gene back on Wednesday with Jennifer. But if you want to be a guest on any of our shows, be interviewed, or if you would like to learn more about what we talked about or learn more about Toastmasters, let us know. And meanwhile, you please tune in tomorrow morning at Wake Up with Toastmasters.